never edit out. Anyways, guys, hello.
Welcome.
Let me know when we really started.
I think you didn't see the countdown on the screen?
Look, all I'm saying is Kamala is the hottest president we will ever see in our fucking lifetimes.
True, I cannot believe I'm going to be jacking off to a president, especially if Trump wins.
Well,
I mean, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Double D Experience.
She's so fucking hot, man. Objectively.
She is pretty hot, I'll say that. I am Nintoonist. We have a guest on today for the first time in God knows how long. And it's not even because people don't want to be on the podcast. People have asked about it a lot. It's because I'm a degenerate and I just keep forgetting. This is someone we've been meaning to have on the show for months. If you remember back when we had Cherry on the show, we were originally going to have this guy on with him as well, but we just couldn't make it work because, like, getting everybody's schedule on. And then I'm like, oh, we'll get you on soon. We'll get you on soon. It's been like 3 months. So we got ChargeinChuck. ChargeinChuck. I apologize. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. Chuck.
Everyone cancel him.
I'm sorry.
Everyone dox him. Everyone tell him that he is a worthless, slimy piece of... Okay.
I've been called worse, man. Hello there, everybody. My name is... I mean, we could swing both ways. Anyways, hello there. My name's ChargeinChuck. I'm a random TO and streamer, and I just kind of do stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
What's some of those stuff? Can you be...
You can find me on Epic Plugin, Twitch.tv, ChargeinChuck, or ChargeinChuck YT on YouTube. I upload NASB sets, I host Nick All-Star Brawl 2 tournaments, and I just kind of play whatever I'm feeling. I'm on the Yakuza and Kingdom Hearts grind right now.
Oh shit, fuck. Sorry,
man, this really is ass backwards. You were talking about graduating from a C to a D, and now we're starting with the plugs instead of like wrapping them up at the end. We're really going completely backwards in all sorts of places all over the place today. Well, Chuck,
man,
thank you.
You gotta break ground somehow.
Exactly. You gotta break the ice, in whatever way you can.
We gotta break bread together. So we throw on the podcast. Alright, so Chuck.
What is your nationality?
Let's pretend.
I am from the land of cousin lovers, Alabama.
Hey! Have you ever loved your cousin?
Wee.
Have you ever loved on your cousin? You don't have to answer that if it's true.
No. And they're not in Alabama.
Can I ask one thing about
ahead,
Alabama?
What's up?
So, have you been outside of Alabama ever? Like, you've been to like the east or west coast? Like,
I've been to Disneyland. No, I've gone out to Florida. I've gone a bunch of little family vacations here and there.
Okay.
So how would you say, like, what is kind of like the general vibe whenever you're like in Alabama compared to, let's say, when you went to like California? Is it like the culture? How different is it? I'm kind of curious.
I would say everyone's just very laid back. You either get the chill people or you get the racist people.
That sounds about right. Yep.
Okay.
That's very much, that was my experience with the South as well when I went to Louisiana.
Yeah. Sounds about
Alabama,
white,
but no. Yeah. I mean, hey, if you like it being warm all the time here, or storming for 5 hours straight a night, then Alabama's for you, man.
Yeah, those downpours, man. We were talking about Left 4 Dead last week as we were talking about horde-based games, and I remember Come Hell or High Water or Deep Water, whatever that mission was, where like you're just trudging through the floods. I've been down south before in Georgia and Florida. I've seen those downpours down there.
Same for me, Florida.
It either rains for like 10 minutes, or you got yourself a whole day of rain.
Yeah, it's either or really down there.
There is no in between.
Yeah, and like, not to mention, like, are you a how would you say? You're all about that southern hospitality for your guests.
Yeah, man.
Is that like a myth or no?
Yeah, man. If you having people over and you ain't treating them good, then who the fuck are you?
That is very true.
Well, you host tournaments. I mean, if we want to pretend like this is an actual interview instead of just three dipshits who, like, have like money on a call together to be able to do this kind of stuff.
You just called our guest a dipshit.
Don't worry, I'm used to it.
I opened it calling him a cuck. Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah, we've already
a cuck is a lifestyle.
Ground.
That's different.
Well, I mean, everybody in the fucking, like, NASB core.
It's not an insult no more, David.
I think it was Cherry who coined it. He just started calling me Nintoonist one day.
Does he just have, like, porn names for all of you?
No, it's, like, just me. Like, fucking... And then
Look, man,
eventually...
both of us are one letter away. Just get used to it.
I mean, Chuck beat us to the... I know, you're right. You beat them to the punch at least, and you called yourself ChargeinChuck first.
Oh, I've owned up to that ever since Overwatch 1.
I mean, you're the third person in the call right now, so theoretically, like, you're the guest here, which, so in a hyperbolic kind of way, like, you are basically the Sneeko chair of the podcast right now. That's you.
I ain't talking about cuties, bro.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about cuties either. I was talking about...
He's an Alabama, David. He's got class, unlike people from our neck of the woods that apparently like that type of shit. Like Southerners have values. Let's say, come on, man.
You want to talk about the next guest we'll have on the show? I was in the dry cleaners today. There's a guy. I think he's based in Jersey. He's a certified Tony Soprano impersonator. I have his number now. We can call him. We can literally have a fucking Tony Soprano impersonator on the show, Dennis. Do you want that to happen? I can make it happen.
I would not. I'd actually really love that.
I would love that too. But anyway, let's pretend this is an actual interview.
That sounds kind of epic.
Wouldn't it be?
It would be so awesome.
It would be so nice.
Let's go.
ChargeinChuck. In actuality, in the way that I know you, is that you are a tournament organizer for various games. If we want to talk about your southern hospitality, how welcoming you are to people all across this great nation of ours, in my neck of the woods personally for NASB 2 tournaments when that game came out, you were one of the first people I've seen doing that, and
I think I did stuff like week 2. I think that was when I started.
Yeah, something like that. Back when Ember's Strongfair sent you towards her for some fucking weird reason. That was really weird. Base change. But you were one of the first people that I think you were the first person to really just give more of a testament to you than anything else. I mean, because people talk about me when it comes to like as far as like being a player and stuff. Like, oh, Nintoonist, he got cracked top 20. He's the best Ember in the world. Blah blah blah. And like, but you.
Cool.
You're the first tournament I ever entered. So in a big sense, shut the fuck up. You don't have COVID anymore. Stop. So in a bigger sense, right?
What's your handkerchief?
I'm Asian. We don't have those. We just use our hands.
He only has Master Chief, not handkerchief.
Continue, you fuck.
Anyway, a lot of that really is just a testament to you. Because your tournament was the first one I ever entered. I think it was Streets of Chuck 3? Or 4,
Whichever
I don't remember. Yeah, it was either 3 or 4. That was the first NASB 2 tournament I ever entered. I got 4th, and I got Chargeinchucked by Happy Miller, because he, like, suicide spiked me with the up B. That was back when Reptar was, like, fucking stupid, right? Like,
Let me pull up number 3. Yep, that was 4th. December 9th.
Which, much like our gracious host here, I had COVID at the time. So that's why John... I was like, I had a little bit of pre-delirium going on. Yeah, my brain was like cucking my lungs, basically. That's basically what happens when you have COVID. It's just your brain cucking your lungs, but...
Oh, you like that bat virus.
What soup you having, bro?
Listen, man, I just got real horny. I'm playing Sonic. I just saw Rouge the Bat's giant corona-filled bat titties, and I had to...
I actually have a question for Chuck.
I had a certified Randy Marsh moment. I apologize, all right?
Chuck, I have a question for you, sir.
Yes, sir.
As a TO, what does your day-to-day look like?
Day-to-day is...
So, like, I guess before an event starts, like, what's, like, the amount of, like, prep work you kind of have to do? Like, what's a lot of, like, the day-to-day you sort of do, like, to kind of get that event organized?
The day-to-day is, of course, hey, I use Start.gg, which is either the best or worst site ever. Basically, just all thankfully, there is a setting on Start.gg which you can just copy settings from a previous tournament, so that does save a lot of time. But it's really just, get into going, make sure to get the word out there the best that you can, constantly checking to see who enters, because you got to be ready to see it at a moment's notice. But it it's just really just sitting. Stalling for time and painfully waiting. Oh god, who's gonna enter? Who can I seed? Good.
I've been guilty myself of entering last minute, and I apologize to you for that.
You're good, man, but I think the reason my events weren't PR'd before is that they literally said Chuck seeding whack. And then I learned that the bracket website existed.
It's just like the bracket website.
No, there's a website called Bracket where you can literally look up the rankings of everybody, and I had no idea that existed because nobody tells me things.
It was just
That's
one of those
kind.
things
That's
like you had
kind
to
of.
find yourself, huh?
Yeah. Well, no. The thing is, the TO is that people just kind of expect you to just know
Nope.
everything,
Yeah.
kind of.
That's what I figured. Yeah.
And I'm not actively looking at the Discord 24/7.
Mhm.
I don't know everything that's going on, so that's one thing is that like not every TO knows what's going on in the scene all the time. Not every TO knows all the resources. Now that's on me to be looking better, but I'm not gonna know everything.
That's fair. Yeah. And
But back,
like, but yeah, continue.
Okay, but yeah, it's really just just making sure to do the best to look at everybody that's going on in entering, doing the best to seed, and just trying to make sure everybody's there. You have to be a distraught parent looking over anywhere from your 20 to 100 children who may enter a tournament. And a little side tangent, the biggest tournament I ever had was back in the Smash days, and that was like
I was gonna ask, like, what was the biggest tournament you ever organized?
Yeah, no, that was like 120-man tournament, and Hungrybox lost his same Piranha plant twice.
Really? I never knew you TO'd Smash at all.
No, so I guess we'll get into the Chuck lore. Hello, my name is ChargeinChuck. No,
And
I
this
got
is
my
my
start.
story.
You sounded real seductive when you said that. In a bit of like a southern hospitality kind
Hello,
of way.
everybody.
Like,
My name
hello.
is ChargeinChuck, and I am a tournament organizer.
Oh.
No, the lore is
Dude,
that
dude, look at this. My desk is like starting to rise for some reason.
I
And ever since you
organized
said
tur-
that, my desk is just starting to go way up.
calm yourself down, man. We'll get to
Okay.
the spicy part.
Okay, I'm
He
relaxed.
hasn't
Let
even
me
talked about his cousin yet. Why are you so excited for?
Later. Anyways,
My desk can only get so high off the ground. All right,
Yeah.
don't talk about the cousins yet.
I get you, but it might come to a surprise. I may have the voice of a middle-aged dad, but I'm only 22, and I got my start back when the pandemic hit high school because I was in 12th grade, and I was like, man, I'm bored. Let me fucking host a tournament. And so that's how my career started. And I was a high schooler, 12th grade, senior year, nothing to do, and I like, man, just what do I do? And so I tried to struggle my way through hosting my first Smash bracket like years ago, and then my first server was called some people might know it from the old days. It was Chuck's Playground for Improvement. Unfortunately named CPI, but we'll get to that later. But Chuck's
That
Playground
name sounds like the fucking. That name sounds like the
you
kind
know
of name.
you know he knew what he was doing.
That name sounds like the kind of name that would get voted in if, like, you left, like, a Twitter poll, like, for your constituents to apply to. I don't know if y'all ever saw that meme photo where, like, they left it up to the students of, like, a middle school or a high school to name the new name of the high school. And one of the top names was Adolf Hitler's School for Friendship and Tolerance. That's straight up what, like, that sounds like.
Yo, that was a
Very
fire
good.
name. I don't know why they didn't choose it.
Chuck's Playground for Improvement.
I mean, the whole thing was that I was an ass fucking snake man, and I said, hey, let's kick our asses or something, and then I raged when I went 0-2 in my own bracket. I still do.
I want to get ass fucked at Chuck's Playground.
Oh, look, man, I'm not ready for those claims or charges. But yeah, no, it was Smash, and then it was Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 1. And I hosted for that game until Shredder came out because I said, dead game.
Based.
And then...
Based. Fucking fucking Shredder was so goddamn stupid in that game, bro. He was just a flying fucking hitbox. I hated fighting that character. He was the worst. I'm so happy he got cut. Real shit. I'm really happy they didn't bring him
We'll
back
get to
NASB
2. NASB 1 later, sooner or
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
We'll talk about our favorite up errors whenever. But,
You fucking know my favorite up air, baby. You already know.
Oh, you like him green? Hmm.
Yeah, you know I like my up air.
Yo, calm down, both of you. Like, it's getting a little too horny in here.
My chair's sinking, bro. Your desk is rising, my chair's sinking.
You know I like my up airs long and launching at the same knockback angle when it hits from the back.
That is true, man. But anyways, back to the segment. Yeah, I used to do NASB 1 stuff until Shredder, because I was just kind of fed up with the game and all that. And then I went on to Rivals of Aether. And if you honestly ask me, I think Rivals is probably the best platform fighter I played. NASB 2 is behind. For each all their own reasons. But,
You have said that, yeah.
Yeah, but I've run into things. It's Rivals. I loved it, but the thing is that it was already in the NASB problem where it was its own little dedicated community, and Once you start getting to dedicated communities, you see the same matches, you see the same people, you see the same stuff. It's great playing them, everything, but as a tournament organizer, for me personally, I want to be able to see new people rise up, new stuff happening, And I really did love Larvals, but there just wasn't enough going on. Even though I think it was a very awesome and probably the best platform fighter, but there just wasn't enough in there. Who's got their microwave, bro?
Oh, sorry. That was my air purifier.
You got some Pop-Tarts, man? You air frying Pop-Tarts?
You want some? I got Pop-Tarts. I got
Is it strawberry?
Some Goldfish. Yeah, I got that strawberry shit.
Okay,
shit.
I love you now.
That and also the Oreo. Oreo is also my favorite. None for you, David. Fuck you.
I don't want any. That's what I was gonna say. Do you have any idea?
Well, I was gonna give you none anyways.
You know how much fucking high fructose corn syrup is in a single Pop-Tart?
Man, shut up! You've been sipping down high fructose corn syrup for 20 years of your life.
No, I haven't. I stopped drinking soda like forever ago.
All right, never mind.
The guy at the Gyro King, Dennis, gave me a free soda for my birthday when I went there that night. The same night he asked me to go party with him in New York. And I looked at the back of the label. 1 can of Dr. Pepper has like 80% of your fucking daily sugar intake. That shit's insane, but anyway,
whatever. Man, I enjoy my Dr. Pepper. That's either the best thing or battery acid.
Yeah, Dr. Pepper's the only soda I ever liked.
Sodas, especially nowadays, is even like back then, like, I usually try to just drink as much water as I can compared to soda, but like, I think nowadays it's like, I enjoy a good, like, Coca-Cola every now and then, Like, it's like a guilty pleasure, like, type of thing. But it's also like... Certain foods you can't have with fucking water. Like pizza without soda is like it makes no sense to me. Like you gotta have a slice with
You gotta get the Domino's. Soda. You gotta get your Domino's and garlic bites. Water's not the key.
Like when you go to Costco, you gotta get that shit. You gotta get that shitty hot dog with a fucking shitty Diet Pepsi or whatever.
That $1.50 Jamie Street Fighter 6 Costco hot dog. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, yeah. But it's like even in New York too. You're not gonna get a hot dog without no drink.
Oh, never get the glizzy at the fucking Smash Major.
Would you rather trust gas station hot dogs?
I don't know if I could.
That is the one time I would get. That is the one time I would get the Smash Major glizzy over the fucking gas station one. I swear to God, that shit like has like liquidated cancer that they inject inside the end of it like before they put that shit on the rotisserie.
All right, doctor, proceed to give him ligma.
Shit's like the
within the hot dog.
You see, that's where the little butthole marks come from.
Wow, the tight little butthole marks.
I don't know what else to call them, man.
They look like small A's, or they look like a really puckered pee hole.
All right, I think we've had enough here, gentlemen.
No one's gonna. Not really. No one's gonna believe me when I say that like Chuck only prefers men who are 7 and up. But Dennis can confirm that he said that before we actually started recording.
No, hold up, Nintoonist.
So if there was an injection that you put in to make it 7 and up, would you do it? Would that be sublime to you, Chuck?
Colonel, I'm getting some medication. It's gonna make me kind of dummy thick.
Yeah, Colonel.
Colonel.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if we could fucking talk for a second.
Yeah, we talk.
Kind of derailed the bit because of the glizzy.
If we could, I mean, men get distracted when they see themselves a good glizzy. It's like, it just like, it calls out to them like a tiny part of themselves. It just calls out to them like a tiny part of themselves that they're not willing to accept about them yet for societal reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe if you just live in Alabama or something, I don't know. But, yeah, so to ask you, so you just, was it a natural transition over to NASB 2 when, like, you were just, because you mentioned something about starting TOing NASB 1, you stopped when Shredder came around, which was pretty based, and I know that you're probably not going to be TOing of something like NASB 2 forever, the same way I'm not going to be playing NASB 2 forever, but what made you want to continue doing NASB 2? As almost a year after the game has been launched, because you've been running a regular tournament for it for a pretty long time now. Now so much to the point where your tournament since launch, and now like you mentioned earlier, your tournaments now count towards the global rankings, which I am very grateful for, because back when, you remember, I didn't enter Chucks for about 4 months. And the reason I didn't do that, which I felt very sad about, because yours was the first tournament I ever entered, was back when I was doing the Samsung job, and I just worked on Saturdays, and I just couldn't get home in time to play in Chucks. And thankfully for me at the time, the tournaments weren't power ranked yet, which means they didn't count towards the global rankings. So, like, I wasn't missing out on, like, at least those sweet, sweet points by missing out on the Chucks tournaments. And it was almost like a sweet poetic nature to it, where as the second they started getting counted towards PR is around the time I got laid off for that job.
Oh, you got laid around that time. Congrats.
I got laid off on that job. No, that was a month later when I was in Napa, but that's not a story for the podcast, at least not yet. Yeah. So what made you stick with NASB 2? Because you've become, I don't want to call you a figurehead if you don't want that title laid upon you. But
I mean, I'll take whatever people call me. If people think I'm up there, then people think I'm up there. At the end of the day, I'm just a dude who likes the game, but hey, people call me whatever.
He's just a simple man making his way through Alabama.
Despite my outward demeanor, I very much do not like to impose on our guests. I only like to call them out for shit they said before we started recording about only wanting dicks that are 7 inches or higher and being a classy broad with some fucking standards.
Hold up, can I say one thing super quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
About being a figurehead. It brought up something. You know, being a NASB 2 figurehead, that reminds me of one of my favorite comments ever. I made a video about the Garfield trailer, and I edited the Resident Evil 4 "No Thanks, Bro," where there was just a clip of them just reflecting back to back in Garfield's trailer, and somebody in my comments section said, "Today's subject, slavery." And I don't know what Garfield's got to do with it. That's just the price I have to take for being a figurehead.
Everyone knows Garfield's ancestors were the biggest slave owners in Alabama. Everyone knows that. It's just part of the lore. I'm surprised y'all don't know this.
Kind of like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Garfield looks like he would own a actual person.
Yeah, like, I don't know what you're talking about. He basically does.
He's like, make me lasagna, but just with the most dejected look ever. He wouldn't even tell him to pick cotton. He would tell him to make him lasagna and just not pay him for it.
He basically already owns a person.
There you go. That's why. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm. All right, boys. Let's take the train back.
Yeah. Okay. So, NASB 2. I mean, what keeps you going? Like, still running tournaments for this fucking Discord fighter that we all play, you know?
Well, one, I think most of the people in the community is very awesome. I want to shout out, of course, Nintoonist. Excuse me, that's the wrong name. Nintoonist.
Thank you.
Jabibi, Five Swap, Benjamin. There's a bunch of awesome people in the game, and the community is definitely one of the best parts of the game for me, because everybody just chill. We're just here, we're just doing our thing. But what keeps me going is, I think NASB 2, with the slime bar and everything, I just think on top tiers aside and everything, busted mechanics. I'm looking at looking at Cora, but that's a whole other debate. But
yeah, I'm not even part of that community. Even I heard how broken she is.
Yeah, she's pretty fucking stupid right now. I'm not gonna lie.
The Avatar cycle just moved on from Aang to fucking Cora, and now y'all just have to deal with that for another until next patch.
But
literally, I mean, it very well might be Iroh now. Iroh dropped like yesterday.
He's broken too.
Once people start getting the counter, and that's when Iroh's gonna get good.
Iroh has like a fucking strong attack in the air that does 40 damage and starts on frame 1 for some fucking reason. It's insane. And the Dragon Breath too, like the little fire breath move that he has, also frame 1 for like no reason. It's just kind of crazy. I mean, I for one welcome, like our Western fire dragon, but whatever.
Dragon of the West.
My bad. It's been a minute since I've watched the show.
It's okay to say you love grandpas.
I do love grandpas.
He is the best grandpa in fiction. No doubt.
I'm basically a grandpa as far as NASB goes. I'm almost fucking 30. And when that was revealed to the Discord.
Are you going off of like NASB years? Is that like...
I'm basically going off
I've heard somebody say 23 is old, so I'm getting there.
Ugh. Don't listen to those. Fuck. Don't
there's
listen to
that,
those
and then there's also like 30 is the new 20, which like, whatever helps you like, sleep at night, I suppose.
Well, Chuck, I very much want to thank you, at the very least, for running those tournaments. And I'm actually really happy that this got delayed up until now for the sole reason that I won the last Streets of Chuck.
Congrats!
For all of y'all watching at home. And so now I get to say that I finally won one of your tournaments after how many months or almost a year of like participating in them and knowing you at this
You'll
point.
get there eventually out of the third or fourth zone.
I don't even know, man. Like, I want to fucking...
Can I say one more bit?
Please.
Yeah, but another thing that keeps me going, SB2, I think like I was saying before we got to the core debate, I think Slime and everything, I think NASB2 is one of the most innovative platform fighters, if it had a budget. But I think with just Slime and everything, I think there's just always something new to push if people labbed. And, I think Slime... Like I said, hey, some characters got more uses for it and whatnot, but I just, like, Slime and just the whole mechanics and everything, it's just, there's always something going on, always something being pushed, and that's honestly why I like it. Also, Zim is an actual character in this game instead of just, I mean, he's still strong fair in this game, but he has stuff going on.
Chuck top 30 when?
We'll see, man. Look, man, I'll make 50 at least, but that's if I play.
You can definitely make 50. I wholeheartedly believe you can. We literally made a top 50 just so fucking Fig could get ranked. So, like, honest to God, like, if we did that for him, we could do it. We could do it for you, and you'd probably wind up higher than 50.
Yeah, but another thing that I guess this is a separate debate that we can go on to is that now with potentially in the IRO zone of this being the last patch or not, another big thing is, for someone who's not too cracked like me, is the passion to play. That's another loot thing. I love the game, but, if you don't got the drive, what you gonna do? And that's something I kind of found to here and there, and that's, and we're getting a little into the NASB 1 zone like that where, it's a little bit of the same thing over and over.
Like a very stale, kind of stagnant meta?
I mean, meta is a thing. It's just, for me, it's just like, same people, same everything again. It's getting a little to that. So not bad like NASB 1, but, but, hey, keep going forward. I don't know. Hey, I'm someone who just loves 40 HP Gur, and I'll get carried by him, but, it's about the drive, and, hey, either some people got that or they don't.
It comes and goes. It comes and goes. There have definitely been periods where I haven't felt like playing NASB, and it had nothing to do with the patch. Like, the day that IRO dropped, I didn't enter Frosty Freezy Fridays, and the reason I didn't is just because I was in a terrible mood because of some shit that happened to me earlier.
The reason I didn't is that I had to do a double.
Ooh, yeah. Yikes, I've definitely worked that ballpark, my friend, both retail and food service, trust. But as far as that drive goes, it comes and goes. And we got egos in the NASB scene for sure. Like, you see the little arguments that happen in there. We're checking each other. We call each other out. It's all in play for just at the end of the day. The bread zone, yeah. the bread zone among one player, among others. And bread's not even like the worst offender.
How crispy do you think he is?
How crispy do I think bread is?
Yeah.
It depends on his mood, and it depends on whatever like egotistical thing someone else said in the Discord that day. Truthfully, it depends on if Solveig said some shit like, "Yeah, there's only 3 good NASB players."
That's a debate.
or like that shit when that happened, or like if somebody else just like says like something shit like that. That's the kind of stuff that fires him up, and that's when the bread becomes really, really crispy. If anything, I think the bread has been like a perfectly good middle toast lately. I've been enjoying that a lot, actually. Both with the
I'm waiting
Project
for the Bread
N.
Movie 3.
Bread Movie 3, Electric Boogaloo. It's been good. So, like, that's the drive that brings that about. Like, there's definitely that kind of passion in the scene that comes and goes. And as far as, like, meta shifts, like, to answer Dennis's question as well, we're sort of in the spiciest part of that. Because, like, you mentioned, Dennis, you said it, not us. There was a huge meta shift in NASB 2 recently with the patch that came out recently, where a lot of characters were very much nerfed. Rightfully so. Aang was, like, nerfed exponentially. Danny was nerfed a bit. And whatnot, but then Korra and Zim were just, not enough. I'll contest to that, or like I'll concede to that. And then Korra and Zim were just Omega buffed for like no fucking reason. And then metas change and they evolve. If anything, NASB 2's meta has been changing quite a bit. If anything, very drastically, to the point where because of how massive the buffs were, there are a lot of people who are vastly very critical of this patch. But as somebody who plays the game a lot, who became a top player for it, I can say that like I still prefer this patch over the last one. And Chuck, you knew me. I fucking hated Korra before. I hated that character before.
Look, would you rather play up against combo Korra that we have now? I mean, she's always been. Would you rather current patch Korra or Korra who's going to choose I play the game when I decide to?
I would still, play the game when I decide to, truly. I would still rather keep this than the patch we had for the last one. Not only because it lasted way longer, but just because I feel like it's not at that level that Aang and Danny were at beforehand as far as the meta goes, for sure. And it's
really
also still new. You know?
The characters are cracked, but they're not Aang and pre-patch Danny levels. Okay, Korra is, but Zim, he just got 2 fucking things cracked about him, but he still loses in every exact same way.
Even Korra, like, I still feel like I can somehow sometimes play neutral with, at least. Never felt that with Aang.
Yeah, Aang and pre-patch Danny, you're never getting that.
Or Danny. No, never. So I still want to say that the game is in a healthier state, but you know how gamers be, especially Platfighters player. They can be a little overly negative sometimes, but that's why we got to call each other out on it sometimes. I'm very much guilty of that myself. You see me in the fucking Discord. I vented about multiverses and why I think that game's doing predatory shit. How horrible I thought the last patch was still, among other things.
Guys, they finally added teching.
They did, didn't they?
That's gonna save the game.
It's gonna save it. But yeah, I guess as far as like another vein of NASB 2, I know I've heard you mention, I think on the last Streets of Chuck that you hosted, actually, you mentioned something about how you feel Rivals 2 is gonna sort of be a little bit of a detriment to NASB 2, and could you elaborate on that?
I mean, I think this game legitimately, of course, hey, NASB 1 lived on until 2 came out. 2's gonna do the same. There's always gonna be the crowd for NASB 2. But I really think, everyone's hyping up Rivals 2. Everyone's talking about with the constant beta weekends and everything. But, everyone is just really waiting on Rivals 2. Because let's take a little look. NASB 2? NASB 1? Who's buying fucking 2? I'm talking like the average Redditor here. NASB 1? Bad launch? Why am I buying the sequel? Multiverses? Waited a whole year for LeBron to get nerfed? No way.
He can't be nerfed.
I'm still mad at them nerfing LeBron instead of everybody else.
Yeah.
That's honestly what made me quit the game. They can't fucking nerf Iron Giant. They've nerfed him every patch, but he has still.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I hear they nerfed him 7 times. How do you nerf a character 7 times and you still don't know how to not make him fucking broken? Like, just throw him out. Like, just throw the character out. You fucked up at that point. Like, just get rid of him. Remove him from the fucking game.
Can I ask a game balancing question? Because I know
sure, I guess.
For okay, never mind that. But because like I know amidst like even all this like because I play Helldivers 2, and like there's a lot of talk in that game right now where a lot of the weapons that people have been using in that game, people have said that the devs especially like have just been kind of nerfing those guns and not really buffing anything else. Now, for when it comes to, I guess, like even platform fighters or even any sort of like fighting game in general, more often than not, it's like, at least, let's say off of day 1 release, right? There's like already kind of like, I think, would you say that, real quick, if when the game first comes out, the player base already kind of knows or as a bit of an established sort of meta at the very beginning? Like, people kind of already know, like, okay, like, this character is, like, obviously a lot better than this one. Like, they know which one is, like, I guess, competitively more viable, like, right off the bat. Like, would you say that is the case for a lot of, like, fighting games in general?
You can definitely find who's the better characters at first, but, there's never going to be that clear, okay, this is exactly where they are. You can definitely find the characters who are better straight away, but, That's about it. I mean, day 1 Reptar was something.
Mm-hmm.
Never wanted to go back to that, but like Raph, we thought he was busted. Maybe he was at the time. I don't know. Lucy, like I said, you can find. I mean, everything's gonna work. Everybody's gonna go. This is on counter. This is whoa. Like it's all about the expiration. Day 1, everything's meta. But like I said, I think you can find the good options and the good characters, but it's never clear where everything is. But you can definitely find what's good first.
Okay. So then my question goes, to I guess both of you guys, where when those patches roll out, like, would you prefer, I guess a game dev strategy where for those patches, it's not it's only let's say VV, it's like on one side it's like, okay, they nerf all of the problem characters and they don't touch anything else, or they do nerf those problem characters and then they buff, let's say, characters that like they felt like for whatever reason like just needed a buff to begin with. Like, would you guys prefer which one or?
You can have this one first, and then Nintoonist.
I was just about to say, like, I was going to give it up to you because you are
okay. Fine, I'll go ahead.
Today, but believe me, I have a lot. I have a lot to say to that, like, for sure, because in Dennis's neck of the woods, he doesn't play fighting games, right? He doesn't play platform fighters, no Smash,
He's a
no
filthy
NASB.
player.
No.
Whoa.
I am not even part of that like strata. I'm sorry. As far as my eyes can tell you, no, I do not play that game.
Fucking say, did you say that because he's fucking Korean?
No.
If he did, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Do you know how many times I've seen Asians that I just completely thought like, oh, he definitely plays League.
Yeah, because
for sure he plays League.
I mean,
Chuck,
when
I know
I heard,
you didn't. I know you didn't, but I want you to know I encourage that.
Oh yeah,
no, and I just heard
profile me
you just literally said man doesn't play fighting games. Okay, he has to be a no-lifer League player.
So he has to play Dota, or he has to play StarCraft. Like the fucking,
he's got to be at least a Valorant. He's got to at least be a Valorant player.
My man here, my man here did comp Yu-Gi-Oh, like card games and stuff. It was more his neck of the woods. So that's what I want to say, Dennis. You know, as a communications major, the medium is the message. That rule doesn't apply to what I'm going to say at all, except in the weird, stupid analogy that I'm about to make for it. Because like you said...
talk on Monday.
Mexican Garfield be like...
But look, it's back to buffing.
Continue.
Yeah, Mexican Garfield be like... Anyway.
Back to buffing. I'll go. May I please go?
Now give me my fucking enchiladas.
But
anyway,
to the whole buff nerf situation, I think only like top tiers should be lightly nerfed, and you need to go from the bottom and up. You forget what's saying. Like lightly touch the top tiers. Look at what like the low and mid everybody low and bottoms need. Give them like those one or two necessary things, and go from there. Once they get like the one or two necessary things they need, you can go from a character from there. Like, okay, what else would actually be nice, but, you know, not too cracked? Like, you know, I guess a little debate, like, what would I do with Zim? You know, up air, I would make it text someone instead of restanding. Because there, you got at least, I mean, it'd be fucking nasty on platforms, but, you know, it's better than Infinites. It's better to have a hint of skill for damage than just Infinites. Or, like, make them, you know, not fucking 40. Make him like 12, so that he's guaranteed to take that one hit, and now you're in that zone of, okay, I've charged explosion, Gur's been knocked back to me, or he's falling above the person, because, you know, Gur takes knockback now, you send him up or away. You know, do I either, you know, make that defensive play with Gur and have him hold back? Do I try to get him explosion? Do I go in? You know, I wish they could lean Zim into that middle ground of, okay, you've distracted him with Gur, what is your option to select from here? And I really wish that's the way that Zim could be taken. Because pre-patch Zim, if you did something with Gur, he died for everything.
Yeah.
And you basically only had defensive Gur.
As somebody who, like, you know, NASB 1, like, Zim was the reason I quit that game until they nerfed him again. Like, but now they're doing the same thing where, like, he was bad, they buffed the shit out of him, and they're probably going to nerf him again, and then that's going to be when the patches are done, Chuck. I think they're literally doing the exact same thing with Zim in this game.
I'm ready for him to go back to, but I think he'll be at least mid. I think with everything, I mean, make Jimmy mid, too.
Absolutely, yeah. But I'm just saying, you know, you give EX Goddard 40 health, you have to waste a bar of slime for it, and then they just said, yeah, Gur can have that out the gate.
Yeah, no, like I said, I would say 12 is the perfect. What'd you say, man?
It was fucking egregious that they did that. On a character, on a little item that you can't hit projectiles, you can't hit him with projectiles either, he's impervious to them, which forces you to try to break a zoner's zone, but when you do, you're the one who gets punished for it half the time because of how big his health is. Like, that's why people said the last patch was so terrible. It's just the buffs they gave him made no sense. They were just really egregious. Like, it's like Rosalina and Luma, except you can't even hit the projectile on them. But, Yeah.
I have a quick
If I could answer,
Yeah.
if I
yeah,
could
go ahead.
answer, I have an answer to your question as well, Dennis, if I may, right? Because, as far as like separating nerfs and buffs, the medium is the message, right? It really depends on the format of game that you're playing. Because you said like you're not liking you're not liking what Helldivers 2 is doing too much, right? Because you said they're nerfing certain guns but not buffing certain things to balance that, right? And you're responding to that negatively, right?
Yeah,
if I
for
could
the most
explain
part.
why you're probably responding to that negatively, it's because it's a horde game where you're fighting AI. And when you nerf something that is only the player in a game that you're fighting, in a PvE game, in a game where you're fighting AI bots, you're essentially buffing the computer. And that's not fun. It's like it's like Black Ops 4 Zombies from Black Ops 3, where the guns went from being amazing to being insanely bad, and then just buffing the zombies to be too strong to imbalance it. It just made the player feel weak and underwhelmed, and as a result, I feel like I can't accomplish what I'm supposed to do. That is not a same one-to-one comparison when it comes to multiplayer games, and specifically fighting games. Because fighting games, you're fighting other humans who are controlling a character against you. So as a result, that becomes not more so just based off what the individual players can do to band together to fight something together to make the game an overall more enjoyable experience, because when you just nerf the player, it's not fun. This makes it so the skill balance becomes out of whack, because you either make a character too strong, like they did with Korra and Zim in the last patch for really stupid reasons, or you nerf something into the ground, and then it just becomes completely unfun to use. That's why when you nerf a character, you have to make sure that, like, you still maintain the original vision of the character. And as far as nerfing characters, Fairplay Labs, the developers behind NASB 2, I've been saying for months, are way, way better at nerfing characters than they are at buffing them. Because to answer your question, Danny, yeah, if I could echo the sentiments of a player who is much, much better than me in Alpha Stone, who finished the last ranking as the 4th best player in the world for NASB 2, he's been saying for months, since the game, since even a couple of months after the game launched, this is not a buff game. It is a nerf game. And I could not possibly agree with Alpha Stone more when he says that. And the reason for that is because, like Chuck mentioned earlier, one of the things that keeps him TOing and keeps him engaged in the game is the slime mechanic, which, if you don't know what that is, every player has meter, like you do in a traditional fighter. So any character can cancel their moves using a bar of meter into another move. So the combo game is very expansive. It's very extensive.
So that's the back and forth too. Like there's that very separate layer of gameplay.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get to the top tiers not even needing slime at all. Or some characters who are just so good at their plan without needing to use the mechanics of the game. And that's when it's just like, where do we go from here?
But you see what I'm saying, though, right, Chuck? Is that because every character has that diversity, it not only is this thing that keeps people coming back, it makes almost every character in the game a fucking zero-to-death machine when they're in the right hands.
True.
Aang, Danny, Ember, Korra, even Zim now because of his buffs, like Grandma Gertie, like all these characters are capable of one-touching you because of all the shit that Slime can do. And that doesn't mean Slime is a bad mechanic. You take that away, it takes away like the core driving mechanic that brought people into NASB 2 and makes everybody, almost everybody I know who tries this game says how sick it is before they get sick of it because they get bodied too hard. And that is why I agree with Alpha Stone wholeheartedly that NASB 2 is a nerf game, not a buff game.
Always been ruled by the top tiers. Look back at the Aang Danny meta. Even though like the Aangs may not have entered too much, when they did, they won.
Yeah. It's like, like fucking, what's his name, Syndrome in The Incredibles. When everyone's super, no one will be. Basically, every character in NASB 2 is already super. All these characters' power levels, if a lot of those characters were in Smash, they'd be fucking broken. Like, the power levels in NASB 2 is just way higher. So when you arbitrarily choose to pick and choose between nerfing and buffing characters in that roster, it makes it so characters who didn't need buffs, like Korra, and even characters who needed buffs, like Zim, become too strong when you try to buff them even a little bit, as well as just Fairplay not knowing how to buff characters because they always overbuff them. And that is why in this game specifically, NASB 2 is a nerf game and not a buff game. So I hope that answers your question, Dennis, as far as preferencing, do you think nerfs or buffs are more important? It depends on the individual game. And I'm saying this as a top player in NASB 2, Buffing characters in this game is fucking stupid. All the characters in this game are already really fucking good. Nerfing the broken ones is way more important to get people down to that power level because there's a lot of top tiers who are already capable of insane shit. And as somebody who plays a character who's considered a mid tier, if you buffed Ember, she'd be fucking broken as shit. That character's already insane at the stuff that she does.
Trust me, the Ember coping's about to begin with the new stage list.
Oh, yeah, dude, Bread was fucking, like, in the middle of the set. He was getting so tight, and I was just like, bro, I get it, but can we play the game? Like, it's getting late. Like, it's grand finals. I want to go to bed. I'm 28, so...
Can I ask one more question, then? Because,
please.
I know that as far as, like, I suppose, like, even just in general how game development goes, like, do the devs behind NASB 2 have like kind of public test like PTR is the same way as like Blizzard does, like with their patches? Like, do they like?
No, they don't have.
Like,
they don't have PTBs or tests.
They don't. So
they just
this is
roll
all
it out.
Up to their volition and like
yeah, they just roll it out. Now they do have beta testers, but that's if they listen.
That they also apparently haven't paid at any given point.
TNT is unemployed.
That was in the Discord, so that's public knowledge. I'm not the one who leaked that. I'm just saying that right now.
Would a PTB go a long way for you guys if it did exist?
I mean, yeah, because I mean, we could get to test stuff, but that like really depends on the quality of the patch. Like, what happens to like a character who gets like a nothing buff for change? What's there to test?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. Like,
what's there to take notes on? Like, especially
like here. I'm trying to think of an example. Oh, Raphael. Oh, literally dispatch Raphael. He needs a little bit of love after his nerfs from like 1.3. Oh, congrats. He now has an ultimate bug fixed. Nothing else done to him that he actually needed, or like a hint of power that he used to have. What are you going to do with that? It all depends on the quality of the patch. Because like I said, you either get mega fucking buffs, or you get buffs that absolutely mean nothing, or changes that mean nothing. Or your Reptar, where you're nerfed every patch.
I still feel zero remorse, by the way, just bodying Reptars in the way that I do. I don't fucking care. That character gave me such
That character
trauma.
is still zero to death you sometimes, too.
Yeah, and he still does. So, like, I mean, I honestly just don't even feel bad.
And as a Zim, I can take him. I mean, heavies were still up air food for Zim, but like, I'm laming your ass if you're a Reptar.
Amen to that, brother.
But speaking of a little off topic, something back to the, buffs and nerfs and everything. Like I said, Zim got up. He definitely needs some love of his up air because like 70% of the time you would just straight up pop out of it. So I think it's good they made it consistent, but that they made it too consistent.
That's what I'm saying about Fair Play Labs. They're so much better at nerfing shit than buffing them. Like what they did with Danny with back air canceling. He can't just zoom across the map anymore like that.
But he still has everything else.
He still has everything else, and even with back air canceling now, he can still like pick and choose his moments to try to stall himself in the air and just bait down with a neutral air. So it's not perfect, but I at least like the direction that like they're going with it, right? Mm-hmm. So like that's kind of good. I have so much fucking editing to do. Will you shut the fuck up? And stop really coughing, sorry. Holy shit.
I'm trying to drink more water so I could put...
Will you just, like, stop having COVID? What is wrong with you?
I have one more question.
It's not real.
Do you? Because I don't even think you could say it. Because that orgy that was happening in your lungs last week is still going on. You stupid jackass.
How was Smash with their patches? Usually.
I'd say the middle ground for most point. Like
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
They did some things, but most of the times they either really did something good or nothing.
Yeah, their patches were pretty minimalistic, I would say.
So nothing too drastic as far as like
nothing
changes to characters.
Like maybe every patch or two there'd be a character who actually rised up, and then maybe one that fell down. But like that was the immediate example being Pichu. The fall of Pichu needs to be studied.
Yeah, the fall of Pichu would need to be studied. I think Smash 4's patches were way more extreme than like really most of Ultimate's patches ever were, and I think Sakurai might have taken notes from that for sure. Just the changes from characters from the last game over to the new one were way more drastic than I feel like most of Ultimate's like patches were. But I also stopped competing in Ultimate so long ago that I barely even remember.
I was just a filthy snake, man. Look, gives him explosions that detonate on contact.
Or just give him that up tilt, but instead of like a kick, he just like his little like spider arms that he wears on himself just like props him up into the air, and it just has the same hitbox as Snake up tilt.
But may I have one last Zim ranting, and you can judge me.
Absolutely.
Like I said, there's only two changes. Looking back at the things, there's only two, and then maybe changes I would want for Zim. There's only like two things that need to happen. 12 HP Gers, so you could have that middle ground of like, okay, what do I do after Gers hit? And make down tilt a real move. That was the only two changes Zim needed. Besides up air hitting, actually.
Right.
Just make down tilt a real move, and 12 HP Gers, so, you know. Zim has a fucking neutral.
Put that out.
Yeah. But that's
that out
it.
into the world.
Like, I mean, hey, I've said it, but I know down tilt's never going to get changed because they're afraid of the hurtbox shift. I say they're cowards.
Yeah.
And look, not everything about a character has to be good, but, you know, I think there has to be, like, a use. For at least, like, one use of for a move. Not just a move that's just outright bad.
Exactly, yeah. Like Bayonetta is the perfect example of that, where, like, Bayo from Smash 4 over to Smash Ultimate, right? They nerfed her, but they didn't, you know, take away the core essence of the character. She can still combo the shit out of you. She still, like, has all of her crazy air moves that, like, you know, separate her from the other Smash fighters. She's still Bayonetta, and she still feels like her when you play her. But they just took away all the broken shit where she can roof you and insta-kill you from literally anywhere on the map. Now that's the kind of stuff only works under certain conditions, and it made it way more skill-based. So it's like she's still Bayo, and you didn't isolate the Bayo players to make them, you know, to nerf Bayonetta so much to make them
she's
just
still
not want to
hot,
play the
so
character
that's why people
anymore.
Play her.
Well, there you go. That too, yeah.
Real is real.
I'm sure Kamala will be too when they add her to Smash, but you get what I'm saying. Removing the core essence of a character. And I feel like they really... Look, Zing Zang dropped, or like Zing Zang has hardly been playing because what drew him to Danny is sort of gone now.
Well, he literally can't live up to his name.
Yeah.
And then he went on to a
true.
Jenny arc for a bit.
Yeah. His Jenny got, like, good for, like, no reason. I almost would drop, like, games to it, like, back when
his Jenny
doing
was
it.
Cooking.
Yeah,
I feared a world where there was another Jenny player. Look,
Jenny.
angry ranting aside, I get it. Who doesn't like robot girls? But there's too many of y'all in NASB 2. There's too many. I only
there are too many of the robot girls.
I only like Scooter. No, I'm kidding. Y'all are awesome.
Shout outs to the Jenny players out there grinding. Alright, so I guess one last question, and I'll throw this image up on screen right now. Chuck, this image, the luchador. What is the lore?
Okay, so...
What is the lore to the mask? Fuck NASB, who cares? Dead game, who cares?
Can I add
crazy.
one bit of lore to the username?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you the ChargeinChuck lore of how I got the name.
The yellow consumer?
No. I was just born with that addiction. But
okay.
no, the ChargeinChuck name, my original little Timmy name, and don't judge me, my original little Timmy name used to be Shotgunner 65. You could be entering the streets of Shotgunner 65. Or I'll do you one better. You could be entering the streets of Ultimate Tiger Man 6000.
Ultimate Tiger Man
6,000. But no, okay, so it was back when I was like a 12-year-old or 13-year-old, back in the days of Team Fortress 2. I entered my first ever Spy Crab. I spent $10 for an all-class Christmas hat. I lost that Spy Crab, and I said, "Oh no, my $10. And so I left the server, and then I was like, "Oh no, Lord Gaben, please, mercy." And so I changed my name to Football Tackler Chuck. And then I was like, wait, that's a dumb name. And so I became ChargeinChuck, and the name stuck ever since then. So and I'm not going to tell you if I gave the guy his hat or not. I'll let you decide that part of the lore, but that's how I became ChargeinChuck. Anyways, the lore of the mask is that I was what? 17 or whatever, and I went to my first ever wrestling event with my uncle, and he bought me the mask, and I did a funny, I did a funny pog, and that's the sound I made with, and that's the sound I made with it, and I see your glasses, Nintoonist. Are you looking at it?
You see it in like my image. It's on my other monitor.
But yeah, no, I got it, and I went funny, and I took the photo straight up, but it became out sideways, and so that's a funny profile picture, and so that became how it is. And now we're in the Chuck It Up world.
I love that.
Hang on,
I love all of that.
Chuck.
Do I
And I
have
love how your name sort of got a double meaning, that it's named also off of like the Mario enemy, right?
Unintentional.
As like a play off your name. Yeah,
No.
that's completely unintentional, right?
Yes. It
Yeah.
just
Need
kind of
to
happened.
see-
I'm sending this your way.
Word, let me see.
I need to see you commentate with this fucking luchador costume.
Maybe one day, man. But Nathan the Kid, he's been making all of these goddamn memes and edits of my face. Nathan the Kid
Oh my
is
god.
just obsessed with me. He added my fucking shirt to Roblox.
What the fuck?
Now that's love. I don't know what that is, but that's love.
Holy shit, Dennis, look at this.
What's up? Wait, what am I looking at? Where? What the fuck? Chuck it
Let's
up.
go.
It's got the
Chuck it
Among
up.
Us.
Nathan the Kid, I see your servers. Anyways, I
This
don't
is-
know
This is I don't
what's
know what
Nathan's
this is. Either
deal.
flattery or I don't know.
Oh,
what
hang
this-
on. I'm gonna hang on. This is gonna be the last one I send you, Nintoonist. Nathan
Word,
also made a
word.
bunch of these gifs.
That's adorable.
he made
Oh
like
my god.
he made like 5 of these, and so I love Nathan for it. But chill out.
Calm down, sir. Please.
Oh wait, no. I think this is one of my favorites. Hold up.
What the
Dog.
fuck? Bruh.
Dude, it's like, I feel like these are like Hallmark Channel like gifts that you like use like to send to, that you like send to your fucking grandmother on Facebook.
And it's gonna like ask you like, go and
Exactly.
get your Christmas card today at Hallmark's.
I also, just a side note, I don't know what made me decide. ChargeinChuck, about me, I exist. That's about it. I don't know what made me put that Discord bio.
I've seen worse
Exist.
ones. I mean, mine is still the
about
one
it.
from Puss in Boots. So like mine is still like I just wanted a piece of that Caritos culo, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So still that after all this time. But yeah, speaking of time, it's seeming like we're kind of out of it at this point.
Gasp.
Sucks. That
Well,
sucks
hey,
real bad.
it's been good either way, man. Thank you for
Yeah.
letting me become a double D boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
BDC
I'm
today.
sorry it fucking took so long. Genuinely,
You
I'm
good,
really
man.
sorry. Yeah, I'm just really bad with like scheduling and whatnot. I definitely want to have more people on the podcast. I would love to have you back on again sometime if you have just anything else you want to talk about and whatnot.
Hey,
if you just
I'm
have something you
down,
want to get
man.
out into the world in the podcast form.
Maybe one day we make a podcast of the history of NASB 2.
Ooh, when we go into all the deep lore and everything.
The NASB 2 retrospective podcast.
The NASB 2 retrospective podcast. We'll talk about the Plankton dev. We'll talk about Redacted. We'll talk a lot about Redacted.
But you have to
what
say
else?
it. You have to say the whole podcast in Plankton's voice.
Stop jumping! But
I'll talk about Redacted crabs.
yes, I'm perfect so. But Lou, I mean, he
Fuck's
sounds
sake.
like him. He sounds like him.
Oh, he does. He does. That's why I'm laughing because I know the joke.
But a little side tangent for a little last minute. Hey, we got a Google Doc coming for NASB 2. We're in the work with the devs and everything. And I really hope that the next patch can sort the game out, because I think there's going to be at least one more final big balance patch, and we'll go from there and see what's in the great green goo.
I'm pretty optimistic about it too, myself, especially since I know the devs do know about that doc, and that we're getting direct feedback from all like the representatives of the characters and whatnot of like what to change and whatnot. So like, it's looking pretty good so far. I'm anxious to see what's going to happen with it. And all in all, I'm definitely going to keep playing NASB 2 for the time being. I wouldn't be as dedicated to this game and be playing it as much as I do if I genuinely didn't have that much fun playing it. And what makes a game dead is not its fucking presence on Twitter. It's if literally no one plays it. And just because you don't see it on, like, you know, some app that is being filled with a bunch of hate speech right now because of, like, a fucking billionaire's midlife crisis about his trans daughter and the fact that his fucking wife left him for a trans woman. If that's the basis on what makes a game dead or alive, then that's dumber than Dead or Alive.
You know what? Can I say, Lou, something?
Absolutely.
About the dev stuff. I was looking back at my Twitch streams, and, you know, my Streets of Chuck tournaments, I get roughly anywhere from, like, 200 to 300 views on Twitch. And people look, and then, you know, hey, sometimes some sets pop off on YouTube. So, hey, like I said, if you want more NASB action, sometimes you just got to go looking for it. And I say to anybody if anybody listens to this for some reason, I don't know, Nintoonist, I don't know. Maybe drop the NASB Grinders Discord in the link in the bio or whatever. I don't know.
I will do that.
Description. Hey, that's the place where everything. That's the place where everything happens.
That's the place where it all goes down. Where the magic happens. Where the tournament's got, I think, like 2,100 people in there and rising. There's 16,000 people in the main cord. You ever actually like sit in a room with 2,000 people? Would you say that room is dead when you're sitting inside of it? It just lets me know how terminally online you are if that's your basis for if a game is alive or dead. Just because it's not as big as Smash. Smash just spoiled people in that regards. NASB 2 is fucking thriving right now, to be completely honest, for what it is. And honestly, like, if you want to check it out, there's the Grinders Cord. No, it's never going to be as big as, like, fucking Smash, but that's because Smash is, like, a commodity. It's, like, the biggest fighting game, like, ever. And it's one that has, like, no dev support, really. So comparing it to that just makes no sense. Honestly, yeah, go ahead.
I got one more thing I'd like to say. How can we say this game's dead when we've got awesome artists like Salizzy in the community who's doing little arts for everybody, if you can show that on up. So one of the TOs for the game, or XTOs, Salizzy, Dilly, whatever you want to call her, awesome YouTube as well.
Yeah.
She makes like art of everybody, and she made this awesome art of me. She's made art of everybody. She's made art of one of my friends in the server, GBB. Like I said, man, like this is why I love this game, because of the community and everybody just gets to get it, man.
Oh, that's sick. I'm gonna send that to Dennis real quick.
Yeah,
that's beautiful. With like the girl on the back too. That's
awesome. Oh my god, I love it.
His girl tacos.
Chuck.
I love that. Well, if you want to check out NASB 2, you can enter it every Saturdays at Streets of Chuck.
6 p.m. CST!
Want to talk about NASB 2 and talk about plugs? I'm not just going to plug the Grinders Cord. Chuck, where can they find you?
Like I said at the very start of this thing, twitch.tv, ChargeinChuck, that's right, Chuck, not Cuck. And on the YouTube side of things, ChargeinChuck YT, you can find me uploading Yakuza and Kingdom Hearts footage, I guess, and all my NASB sets when I'm not feeling lazy.
Alright.
Also, Twitter...
No, don't feed into his ego. Don't do it.
Yeah.
And you know what, I heard it from your monitor and almost started to sound like screaming, sex!
Cedar. Yeah.
Sex!
We're not going to talk about what's trending on YouTube. MP. No. We're not going to know what's on Twitter. You know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I don't know why that's trending.
No, we're not going to talk about that. Yeah, Chuck, you do amazing work for the scene. A lot of
Dennis
what
knows.
Unfortunately.
A lot of what I have become in this scene is a testament to you.
Well, I think you are a very awesome guy, Nintoonist. You're one of my favorite, except for when I play you, because I lose to you. No, I always have a good time.
That.
I hate everybody when I play them.
Yeah, that's how you gotta be. That's how you gotta be.
As soon as match is over, you just dab him up. It's like, yo, like, I hate your ass and I hate your character, but
you're a broke
ass. Get some dinner later.
You're a broke ass up error. You're a broke ass up error.
For the next 5 minutes, you and I are not friends.
You're not shining. You're not shining.
No.
Uh huh.
Shiny fucks me like every time we play.
Look,
bro.
I know you're so happy when you finally got your. Oh, guys, I got a shiny on Chuck.
I was happy because like I didn't use that move for so long, and then like he just inspired me. His punish game is just better than mine. That's why he wins. I have to play like a bitch whenever I fucking play shiny. So the other Ember. The rule is that I'm the best Ember and shiny is the actual best Ember. That's the lore. But yeah, if you guys want to check that out, the NASB 2 Grinders Chord, if you want to try out the game for yourself, I don't know if it's still $5 on Steam, but it goes on sale very frequently. It ended on the 15th. It's probably going to go on sale again. Wait for it to go on sale. Do not spend $50 on it. Just don't. Even I'm going to tell you not to do that. But yeah, it goes on sale pretty frequently, and when it does, feel free to try it out. It is such a sick game. Slime
Crossplay.
is the most. It has crossplay, so you can like play with people on anything.
Don't get Switch.
Yeah, don't get the Switch version because the Switch is just underpowered.
Dirty
FPS! Don't get the Switch version for any game, please. Just don't.
Yeah.
Except if it's a Nintendo game.
Obviously.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
slime canceling, it's just slime in general is such a sick mechanic. I don't believe meter has ever been implemented into a platform fighter as well as it has been in NASB 2.
Yeah, and if Smash did it, I might go back. If only the online was good.
yeah.
That is another reason why I quit Smash, is that unless you wanted to plug the Ethernet cable, and that still didn't save you, you're not playing online.
NASB 2 was like the opposite of Smash for a while, in that its offline was terrible, but its online is incredible. It was like the opposite of Smash in that regard. But yeah, it's a sick game. Feel free to try it out. Wait till it goes on sale on Steam. If not, you know, like you can wait to have somebody gift it to you and whatnot. It's a really, really awesome game. It's like slime is just such a sick mechanic. I recommend trying it out. I promise. Most people who try this game and wind up giving it a chance do wind up enjoying it. And there's the Grinders Chord where you can learn and play with people whenever you want, as well as like find yourself your resources to become the best representative of your character, if not just one of the best players in the world. Feel free to try it out.
I will teach people Zim.
He will teach people Zim. I'll teach people Ember. Like, come hit me up. People ask me questions about.
Can you teach me how to be mid Nintoonist? Oh wait, I'm already. Oh, never mind. I'm already there.
I can't teach you how to be mid. I can teach you how to play
bro.
mid.
I already do that.
I can teach you how to play mid. If you want to play Ember, I can
teach you how to play peak.
You can teach me how to play peak. That'd be sick. Yeah.
This is why I hate gaming. It appeals to the male fantasy Zim mains.
Zim mains only want one thing, and it's fucking disgusting. 40 HP, gur. Yeah. All I need is my goth mommy to be happy. That's all I fucking need. But yeah, if you like what you heard for some
I need
fucking
me
reason,
vampire moms.
It's the Double D experience. Every single Friday at noon. This is when the episodes go live at youtube.com/Nintoonist, as well as all of your podcast listening platforms, such as Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Leave us a quick 5-star review on Spotify. It helps us out with our search engine optimization a lot, as well as just leave a subscription to the YouTube at youtube.com/Nintoonist. Like the video, comment the video, whatever, any questions you have for us. Regardless, we are here for you. Chuck, you've been real. Thank you for everything you do for the scene. You're really one of like the bigger lifebloods, or like one of the lifebloods of it, because you are a tournament organizer, which by law means you are unappreciated. And I just want to tell you right now, while we're on camera, not only so I have proof, but that I appreciate you. And I appreciate you more, man, because your tournament was the gateway for me into NASB tournaments and into the rankings and glories and actual physical tangible money that I have won in those tournaments. That all started because of you. So, really, thank you, Chuck.
And you know what? We got another little thing. NASB Junior to 31st. A tournament where all top players are banned. And it's a tournament where top 4 gets a prize pool. All top players banned. And it's a tournament aimed for all beginners and, you know, all high, mid, whatever level you're at. So,
Dennis can
join that as well. Yes, he can!
Yes, and be knocked out exactly in the first round of Swiss.
No,
Dennis,
the top 50 players are banned. Actually, hold up, real quick before we go. Real fucking quick before we go. There is actually one thing that we have to do. Dennis, if you were to play NASB 2, who would you main?
Does he even know who's in the game?
Pre-patch.
You can't do pre-patch, it's already over.
Well, okay, Korra then.
Alright, I'll just list you the avatar characters. There's Aang, there's Korra, there's Azula, there's Zuko, and there's Iroh.
Never bring back Toph. Never.
Yeah, no.
I'll be Iroh.
I'm sorry, Flint. Fuck
I have
Flint.
a very special place in my heart for Iroh.
You could pick up Iroh right now and probably start winning. He's fucking stupid. He's really dumb.
For $650,
mad funny. It's like someone like picks up a character for the first time and he like wins a tournament, just never comes back. Like he just disappears forever.
Iroh's kind of almost
happened,
there.
Yeah, kind of. We love y'all. We'll see you next week. Chuck,
we did a lot of yapping. Thank you.
Definitely did a lot of yapping. I'm leaving that last.
Did this guy fucking just die already?
I'm sorry. Fuck you both. Jesus.